Not only breaking news, not only May NFL news, but Cowboys news. George Pickens headed to Dallas. Who better to break it down? We got on the phone. We said, who could talk to us about this? Hall of Famer, Super Bowl champion, Cowboys legend, Demarcus Ware is here. Also, we have a GM. We're a show of GMs here, Joe Hortiz, on a team that is near and dear to where I live and my heart, the Chargers and what they did, bringing in receivers. We're going to take a victory lap on Ladd McConkey, talk about what year 2 of his regime is going to look like between him and Jimmy H. We got it all right now. Big news, huge news in the NFL. Welcome to the show, everybody, here on Up and Adams, whether you're watching on FanDuel TV, FanDuel Network, YouTube, of course, whether you're consuming these clips on Twitter, like most of you do. Thank you for joining us. We've got this big time news. Demarcus Ware, Hall of Famer, on the show. Joe Hortiz will be here to break down the AFC West. And were they in on George Pickens? I don't know, but the Cowboys certainly were. Let's talk about it. The Steelers wideout going to the Cowboys along with a 6th-round pick in exchange for a 3rd and 5th. There's a risk to this for Dallas, I guess. We'll get into there. Is there? I don't know. You guys tell me. What do you feel about this? Amari Cooper was out there. Gabe Davis released by the Jaguars this morning. The receivers are moving, and the market, people want depth. People want game changers. We need a little something for Dak. What does this mean? What are we going to do here? The Cowboys, I mean, Jerry kind of told us what he would do. We talked to RJ Ochoa of Blogging the Boys yesterday about a prophecy from Jerry Jones-Stradamus saying 2 trades are on the way. This was the first one. What's the second one? What do you guys think? As far as this one, outside of CeeDee Lamb, there really wasn't a ton of proven talent in that wide receiver room. Proven talent. There's some depth there. There's some nice pieces. I mean, George Pickens, what we know about him is that he is head and above almost all of them outside of CeeDee, right? He is in the talent department, in the skills department, in the high ceiling department. He's great. He is elite. He is what is going to complement a CeeDee Lamb and Dak really well, because Dak throws an awesome deep ball. And he's never really had a receiver on the outside with this combo of the size, the speed, and like I'm saying, this elite skill, I'm going to say it, to threaten defenses, especially in a really bolstered up, supercharged NFC East that bears the Super Bowl defending champs. Cowboys fans, let's listen to what Aqib Talib said about George Pickens back in December right here on the show. By the way, totally unprompted.
Pickens is soaring. He's now a top 3 receiver in our league. I'm going Jamar. I'm going Jettas.
Wow.
Then I'm going Pickens, man.
Wow.
I'm taking him over everybody. So, and I guard these guys. So right. I know what it looked like, hey. He is now popped his head up in the top 3 of the leagues.
And now he's popped his head up alongside Dak Prescott and CeeDee Lamb and that star on the helmet that comes with a lot as well. So Aqib Talib, saying he's a top 3 receiver. That's the skill. That's the talent that I'm talking about. This is an upgrade, obviously, for the receiver room. It remains to be seen what, the how do I say this? The detractors or the people who would potentially scrutinize a trade like this, Matthew Hamilton, would bring up the fact of, hold on, if he's so great and the Steelers just drafted him and he's on a rookie deal, why on earth would Mike Tomlin and company ever bid adieu? Mike Tomlin, who is amazing, also known as a player's guy, also known, I think, as a relatively patient man as we wait on Aaron Rodgers, and someone who's, dealt with a lot in the past. There's this like sentiment, and I think there's enough to string together that maybe there's something, maybe there's not. It's not for us to judge, of course, and like it'll be up to Shadi to sort of figure it out, and we'll certainly ask Demarcus Ware about it. But there are the detractors that might say the locker room fit vibe might be something to consider.
Yeah, and he's, we saw a lot of examples on the field where he was getting into the extracurriculars last year and mixing it up with opponents and things like that. Mm-hmm. And clearly, like you said, like we've seen Tomlin go through a lot of stuff with Antonio Brown and keep him around, and go through a lot of stuff with Le'Veon Bell and keep him around. And clearly the positives on the field weren't enough to outweigh some of the other concerns that they seem to have in that building right now. Yeah. So that is something that's going to be something to watch here in Dallas.
or we don't have the full picture quite yet, right? Because there's a huge Aaron
Yeah.
piece to this. There are some other, we haven't, might just be part of the story as chips begin to fall. I'm curious if Joe Hortiz of the Chargers, the GM, the maestro there, was interested in him. I mean, he drafted receivers, probably not, but I'm so curious to see about that. And then maybe he's just a young receiver. Maybe he's
Yeah.
just a young superstar, and maybe the Cowboys, and maybe he just really wanted the ball and wasn't getting it. And you know where he might get the ball? Down in Dallas, where CD got a bajillion, literally 75,000 targets a game is what he saw. And I don't think that he would
Yeah.
be opposed to sharing some of that. So it might be a great thing.
Yeah. And again, yeah, you look at he's 24 years old, and
Mhm.
sometimes a fresh start, change of scenery can be a great thing for a young player that's got, that's dealt with some
Yeah.
stuff like this, and a chance to you know, just get a fresh start somewhere could be a really good thing for him.
What are the overlords saying?
Well, the overlords, the lines have moved here in the NFC East odds. The Cowboys were
Okay.
plus 650 earlier this morning to win the NFC East. That's gone all the way up to plus 500. So that's a pretty significant move there. They're now also favored to beat their projected win total of 7.5 games at minus 140.
Got it. And now this, okay, so guys, get over there. Minus 140, interesting. Go to our FanDuel Sportsbook, and that always sort of, it's nice context to what we're talking about here. The Steelers side of things, that it's like Mason Rudolph. I also I'm a little bummed that I won't see DK and Pickens together, because if we're talking like off the charts highlight talent, like I would have really liked to see that. If you're Aaron, does this like entice you, or does it detract you? I would say Aaron knows what he's doing, and everyone, I at this point, I mean, I don't know this, but they gotta know, right? They gotta know. He might be coming in the building knowing this. Actually, I don't know, but you gotta think, right? What do we think? Like, there's the Aaron chip to this. If you're Aaron waking up this morning, did you already know this trade was in the works? Is this just a piece of a puzzle that we're about to see more happen? I don't know. But yeah, you don't move on from a 24-year-old high talent, high ceiling receiver on a rookie deal unless something else is at play, or there's more part of it, or the vibes really were not vibing between the two of you. I do hope it's a fresh start as we look at those receivers, of course, on the Steelers. We just talked about the Cowboys side of things. I mean, they've got the all-pro. They've got the number one guy in DK, so whoever's throwing the ball will be super happy about that. I think we see another move coming, though. They're probably going to have to open up a spot and get Amari Cooper, who I think a lot of Cowboys fans would have liked to see return there. Keenan Allen's still out there. We talked to Chris Harris Jr., his former foe, about what he can still bring to a team, a locker room. And, unless they swing for like a Quentin Johnston, maybe they do, Joe Hortiz. Phone lines open for Quentin Johnston. If the Chargers want to move on from him after they decided to upgrade their receiver room throughout the draft, I don't know. Getting extra picks, at least for the Steelers side, it sort of positions them to make another move. So if Aaron doesn't happen and they get a Kirko Chains in there to meet the dad quota of the team, I don't know, like they can land him without much of a net loss in draft capital. Hamilton, do you have any idea, like inkling? Do you have any inkling? If we're sitting here a week away from schedule release, right? Like, what do you, and this is like the question for Mike North and Charlotte, like, what do you do with this piece? Because Aaron's a hot commodity. Like, you'd like to trot out those Steelers in some extra primetime games. No disrespect to Mason Rudolph. I don't believe any's taken from Mason Rudolph. But this, yeah. Do you have any inkling one way or the other, like what this has to mean? They're getting Aaron, right? And getting him an Amari. I don't know.
I still feel, I still feel like they are getting him, but you're right. It's an interesting conundrum now for these schedule makers as we sit a week out. Like it is the Steelers. The brand of the Steelers is obviously incredible and something that you want in these primetime games, but do they couch that at all with the uncertainty with Rodgers right now? Do they know something as they put all this together? And is that going to be, if Rodgers doesn't sign next week and we see how many primetime games the Steelers get, is that going to be more of a clue for us? That's the most fascinating storyline to me as we get closer and closer to that date.
I love it. I say, take your time, Aaron. Take your time. Make everyone sweat it out. Like, in 5 years, he wants to be off the map. He says, when he does hang it up, no one will ever find him again. So like enjoy this little last ride. I don't even think he's enjoying it. I think he's like dealing with stuff or like whatever, and hopefully that all works out and sorts itself out. We are going to take a short break. I wonder if Joe Hortiz is like, I don't want to go talk about the wide receiver situations around the NFL. I'm not coming on the show. No, Joe, we have much to talk about. And by the way, Ladd McConkey, just before, Hammy, we go to break here. Ladd needs, are we on break? No, we're still on television. Okay, great. Hello, FanDuel TV. Ladd needs, I think Ladd's done enough. Okay. I think CD does a lot. He got a guy. Like, I would like to know which of these drafted receivers, what he liked about them, which he thinks can be that guy. Or are they interested in acquiring some other services? Like if we're serious about loading up Mr. Justin, I'd like to know why I should love these draft guys. I'm sure he'll tell me. And this is the guy I trust, by the way. This is the guy who took Joe Alt in the first round. Ladd McConkey was a second freaking rounder, everybody. And this guy was like literally lighting the AFC on fire.
And remember, at the time, it's easy to forget now that it's all worked out, but people did not love that he decided to draft Joe Alt first and, wait till the second round to grab a receiver. After letting go of Mike Williams and Keenan Allen last year, a lot of people wanted them to take a wide receiver with that 6th overall pick. Instead, he goes Alt, who was phenomenal, and then gets a number 1 wide receiver in the second round of Ladd McConkey. It couldn't have worked out any better and couldn't be a bigger flex for him.
We'll talk to Joe Hortiz, the GM of the Chargers, momentarily. And yes, we do have Demarcus Ware. Like I said, Cowboys were plus 650 to win the NFC East before this trade. Pickens now a Cowboy. It bumps them up to plus 500. Get to FanDuel Sportsbook, everybody. All right. Interesting. Yeah. Have we heard anything from about Amari Cooper?
Not that I've seen. The Cowboy. I still wouldn't be shocked if the Cowboys want to bring him in as well. There's a fit there. He could get on the field with those other two, and that would make sense. I wouldn't totally write that off. But yeah, I'd
like to see him back with the Cowboys, and because I didn't get my Devontae back to the Packers. Fine.
Yeah.
I'd like to see Cooper back with the Cowboys, and I'd like to see Keenan take a roster spot in LA.
That would be fun.
If we can make that happen, Joe Hortiz, I'd appreciate it.
You're always so nostalgic about these players.
I don't like when, I'm still not over Phillip Rivers retiring. If we're all being, Demarcus Ware is still playing in my head. He's still stacking quarterbacks in my mind. So like, I don't like it when, we're getting close to, we're getting close to like all of our guys being out the league. You know what I'm saying?
I know.
The guys we grew up with. Although you and I did have a chat on the phone yesterday, as we always do. And this draft class, I think, went from, I wasn't that enthused. I really wasn't. I'll be so honest. As we started our journey into the draft, and I was like, and this actually might be my favorite draft class, like maybe since Keenan Allen's, what was that, 2013, 2012 draft? I liked that one.
Yeah, I think 2013. Yeah. But yeah, there's so many good personalities in this class. There's so many likable dudes. I wasn't sold
on their personalities. I wasn't that into them. And then I just like...
It wasn't until you started talking to them, yeah.
Post-draft, I got or during the draft, I got really emotionally invested in them. So I'm actually like them a lot. These new cats. Okay. Demarcus knows we want to talk about the trade. I'll give him a heads up.
We did. We sent a note over this morning as well. Yep.
Okay, cool. Sometimes if it were me, I'd wake up and do the hit, since I wake up like this. I've definitely been in the situations like that happened. In fact, this morning was one of them on our morning call when you guys said that trade. And then I went, yeah, that trade.
You played that off.
I know.
You played that off very well. No, I legitimately
thought. Then I looked it up.
I didn't think you were going, and I got to be honest, you played it off so well. I thought you did. I thought you were all over it.
Did not. But I don't need to know. I just need to ask the questions to the Hall of Famers. You got a gold jacket. That's an easy day for me.
That's all we need.
It's been too long.
One of the the best, Demarcus Ware.
Yeah, I play hard.
Gobbled up by Demarcus Ware.
You can't guard me. You can't block me.
Hit it, sack.
Wow, Demarcus Ware is gone.
I'm a saber-tooth tiger running loose. Unstoppable.
See, don't we miss that out on the field? Hall of Fame defensive end, Super Bowl 50 champion Demarcus Ware. It has been too long.
It has been a long time. I heard you guys talking about draft classes. You're talking about 2013.
Yeah.
2005 was the draft class. Like, come on, look
That was
at
the
the
best
names.
one.
Yeah, it's been crazy. This draft was crazy. Y'all were talking about it earlier. I don't know what happened.
What do you mean?
I mean, guys that's supposed to have been drafted first, 5, 5th pick. Usually we will know, right? Like the first 10 picks, you're like, oh, these guys are slotted.
Yeah.
No, this draft class was like, all right, so who is that guy again? So why did they draft him? I mean, that's why we're here talking right now. Like, okay, where's football going?
Yeah. But when you say, so where do you think football's going? As we sit here now, we're 2 weeks removed from the draft. What are your thoughts? What were your big takeaways?
I just feel like football is going to a place where it's about making money instead of winning championships.
And what about the draft? What about the draft made you think that?
A lot of the guys are big personalities, but the guys that should have got drafted in places where they should have, I look at their play, and that's what gets them in the first round or whatever. But when you start looking at, okay, well, then how many followers they have, how much clout they have, like those types of things, they were drafting a lot of those guys because they bring money to the team, which I get. But, do those teams want to win championships?
Is there somebody you're talking about in particular?
No, there's nobody I'm talking about in particular. I'm just talking about the characteristics of the whole draft. That's what made it change. Where when a lot of the guys were getting drafted, you're like, so where did that guy come from? Oh, I remember him. But I'm talking about when you think about Aaron Rodgers, you know where he was going to go. You knew where DeMarcus, you knew where Sean Merriman was going to go, right? You knew where Marcus Spears or David Pollard, like you knew where those guys were going to go. And now it's, those guys can be slotted later on in the 4th round, 3rd round, because they might find something better or just go in a different way.
Yeah, you mentioned Aaron there. I don't know if anybody. I don't know. I mean, he went to the Packers. He slipped quite a bit, so there was a little. That draft in particular was wild in its own right. Where do you think Aaron should go? What do you think
Aaron
happens?
Rodgers?
Yeah,
Aaron Rodgers.
Mm-hmm.
That's hard. I don't know. I mean, right now, where Aaron Rodgers should go, I think he should hang the cleats up. That's where I think Aaron Rodgers should go. And put a suit on, just like me, and talk about football. He's the best of the best, right? And and I think that, with me being the first guy out of our class making the Hall of Fame, I know he will be probably number 2 out of our class. And I think he needs to put that jacket on and say he's the best of the best. There's nothing that he needs to accomplish and go from there.
Yeah, I think no matter what's next, I would put. I'm not. If the FanDuel Sportsbook had a bet on him putting on a suit, you would never get a penny out of me on that. I don't know what's going on over there. I can tell you with a 1,000,000% certainty, outside of dressing like John Wick on Halloween every year and to the Derby, like this man is not putting on a suit. Why do you think you should hang it up? I feel like at the end of last season, he still had a lot to give. I think he still has more to give.
I think he has a lot to give. I had a lot to give my last year too. And I had an opportunity to say, you know what, I'm done. And because my body was hurting so bad. I see so many of his injuries. I know that, it's great to come back and say that I still can do it. But I'm thinking about the permanent damage that can be caused when you go back out there and you hurt yourself again at that age and you're trying to recover. I had an opportunity to say, I'm done. And I was young at the time. And now, I feel great. Yes, I feel like I can go out and get 15 more sacks. I could. But what is that worth? Like, what is it worth to your family? What is it worth to just where you are in your career? And I mean, you can look at a lot of the guys, even Tom Brady. He hung it up because he wanted to, not because they pushed you out.
Yeah, everyone wants that storyline, right? That like that Cinderella, Peyton changing teams and winning, Tom Brady changing teams and winning. Yeah, and by the way, you had 3.5 sacks over your last 3 playoff games, and like nobody should forget that. So you still had a lot to give that Super Bowl year. So I don't know. Are we saying we want to bring you back? Is this like the trade that Jerry was forewarning? Are we bringing D-Ware back into the mix? Kidding.
I don't think once you put a gold jacket on, you can come back.
You could be the first.
I threw it out there. I don't think if you put a gold jacket on, you can't come back. I wish I could, but
Yeah.
I can't come back.
Now, the Cowboys are not worried about gold jackets. You have one, Jerry has one. It's all great. It's all beautiful. Yeah. They need to just win a Super Bowl. And this huge trade news happened this morning with them getting a really talented, skill-wise, talent-wise, size-wise, speed-wise. George Pickens is now a Dallas Cowboy alongside CeeDee Lamb. I love this from Mr. Deep Ball Dak. I got to say, what do you make of the trade? What do you think?
I think it's a really great trade because, the way that they drafted, I was, asked, okay, where would you draft? And I was like, first of all, you got to get the ground and pound game going. That's how when we played, we had Andre Garrard, Larry Allen, we had Flozell Adams. I mean, just to name it, we had a big offensive line. And they did the same thing with Travis Frederick, Zach Martin, Tyron Smith. They're gone now. And so they drafted in the first round a great guard and some other guys that can come in and help. But where was that wide receiver? Where was that, that PO / another player? Now you got that CeeDee Lamb and you got Pickens. And I think that's one of the things that was missing. And going into the draft, they needed a wide receiver. They need that number 2 guy. And now they got that deep threat. CeeDee, he's a great player. He is a deep threat. But this is like a guy where if you throw in him the football, he's going to stretch those safeties out. He's going to get the run game going. And he's going to be a big playmaker with CeeDee.
Yeah, and they did shore up the line, like you said, 3 first-round offensive linemen over the last 4 years, I believe. They bring in Pickens. Do you think they got the right wide receiver? Because he wasn't the only one, of course, available. It's a trade, but you had Amari Cooper available in free agency. Keenan Allen still out there. Is George Pickens the right guy, and why?
I think George Pickens is the right guy because of what he brings to the game in the point of big playmaker.
Yeah.
And when they are getting the ground and pound game going, this offseason, I think that now they're going to have that other guy that they have to really look forward to where when the deep ball threat needs to happen, they got 2 guys that can do it now. Not just, all right, when you got a slot receiver, he might can do a deep ball. No. You got 2 deep threats. And that's like I said, a double-edged sword, and you can throw it to either one of them. I think it was a great trade.
Yeah. I mean, I think that's what maybe people are going to sleep on. They're going to look at the deep ball. But that helps the run game too, this ad.
It does. It does. Because when you can have a guy that can stretch those safeties out, it takes a man out of the box. And now when you're running the football, you find those open areas because that guy's not in the box anymore. They got to stay back and cover 2 half of the time and try to double both of those guys, but they open up the middle for the run game.
So lucky to be hanging out with Hall of Famer Demarcus Ware this morning on Up and Adams. Let's take a look at the odds here because I would like you to tell me how much better this roster is now. You've been all over what they should do. Now they have some draft picks. They might be making another move. How much better of a team are they than last year right now?
I think they're a more of a mature team from the point of consistency. When you think about the Dallas Cowboys in the late parts of the season, they start just pulverizing teams with the run game. And they did that. I feel like they got players that can do that. They're young, but they got good leadership on the offensive line to where they can sort of push them over that hump. And now, like defensively, I mean, I know they got rid of Demarcus Lawrence. They got some defensive guys that can come in and they can just play, right now and do what they need to do. So I'm really looking forward from my end. I think they got even better on defense. Offense, they solidified that from the draft. But defensively, they got better. I talked to Micah Parsons. I mean, he's in a totally different just mindset right now. I've never seen him as focused as he's been. I mean, I'm talking from a spiritual standpoint, working out, and he's saying I'm ready to lead. I haven't really heard all 3 of those things from Micah, and I'm pretty excited just to see what's going to happen from now.
When did that conversation happen, you and Micah?
It was at Tyron Smith retirement.
Yeah.
So we were there and talking to him, and we've been talking ever since. D, what I need to do, bro? Like how? And from a former player, getting that feedback, that want to from him, that's what I've been looking for. And that's showing humility from him, right? He's the top of the top. He's showing humility, but also, hey, I want it from the best. A guy that I want to play like and playing like right now and can get it done.
What do you think catalyzed that? What made him take that step?
To be honest with you, I think he's at a point right now where he's changing so many things in his life and he's maturing.
Mm-hmm.
And what I mean by that is maturing spiritually, maturing from a family standpoint, and saying I want to be a better man. And
Wow.
when he starts talking to me like that, I know that now you can be a better captain on the football field to lead those guys too as well.
I love that. What's the advice you give him when he's asking you these questions? What's the one thing that you tell him?
Don't let the world suck you into a characteristic that you can't withhold. So it's almost like, don't try to live somebody else's dream. How do you create your own? And I told him, like, the hard work that you put in that nobody sees is not going to get noticed, but it get gratified when you're out there sacking the quarterback and they say, how do you do it? Because I've been doing this for 40 hours a week. Or when you see the next man and you have that C on your chest, how can now your position be poured into some of those other guys and you see them get better? That's when you start seeing the whole team, get better. And it's not a you thing because you already got it. How can I sort of be a catalyst and ignite some of those other guys to now be better players, and now the whole team gets better? And that's what I'm starting to see in him. He's reaching out to some of the guys, talking to him, and I'm like, that's what I'm talking about. Like, come on, man.
And he tells you that? Like, he checks in with you, all this. I think that's beautiful.
Yeah.
And how
Like
lucky is he to have you? Like, you're the perfect person to sort of.
Once a week. Once a
really?
week, we validate. Once a week, probably about 45 minutes. We talking.
Really? Demarcus, I'm worried he's going to get traded.
No, he's not.
No? Good.
No.
How do you know that?
I don't, you know what? I don't think
Better not.
he's going to, no, you're right. He better not. I don't think he's going to get traded. From when I was there at Tyron Smith retirement and seeing how Jerry Jones looked at him, and to be honest with you, when he saw a different part of Micah that I saw, I think it was a little bit of change of heart.
Huh.
And it was like, hold on. I know that's our guy on the football field, but that's also our guy outside of the whole thing of sports that can be that catalyst for my team. And what happened if I got rid of him? Because I saw him like poured into and talking to the other players. I'm like, that's the guy that I want on my team. I think Jerry Jones saw the same thing at that retirement of Tyron. And not saying he had a change of heart, but it sort of let him know that he is the guy. If he wants that outside linebacker pass rusher that's going to be wreaking havoc, I want him on my team instead of another team. Going against me.
Must have been some impression. You talked about Jerry Jones' smile there. I mean, I know what you're saying about Jerry, that maybe he had a change of heart or he saw something, but the truth is the package would be huge for Micah because he is so great, because he's such a force, because he does like destroy the game and break it open. They could get multiple first round picks for Micah. You're saying he's not going to get traded. I love hearing that. I feel like you got the inside track on that. Clearly, which
I don't have too much inside.
Yeah, you do. Well, because Micah's not worried he's getting traded. It sounds like he's worried about how he can be what he knows he can be for this team in this scary ass division that's going to take everything he has up here and physically to do. And he's got you in his corner, which I love. Then it begs the question, Mr. Ware, what's the holdup? What's the timeline on the deal? I know you know.
I don't know the timeline on the deal. If I had a shiny ball, I think it's one up here. Okay. I'm gonna lean into, as we get closer to the season, the Dallas Cowboys need something to talk about during training camp.
Oh, that's hilarious.
So, during training camp, same thing with me. If Demarcus is going to show up for training camp, is he going to play with us this year? Is he going to get traded? It was all of that stuff, and 3 or 4 days during training camp, all of a sudden, the big-time guy gets, signed, and it's that next igniting thing for everybody to talk about.
Yeah.
So Jerry Jones is a businessman and he's very strategic. And I feel like it's going to happen if I had to say with this shiny ball up here that I'm rubbing. I think it'll happen a little bit during.
You're telling me it's like on a calendar that like you had to wait until I believe it was October 26th during your 5th-year option season to get your second contract. I think that's what you're talking about when you then became the highest paid player at the position. There's like a calendar like alert for like when they should get these things done. So it's a big deal.
When
like,
do
you
I
think
need
that
to
was
wait?
by design? Yours was not by design.
Mine was not by design, but I
Yes.
just know that as I have seen in the past, always a time to where the media needs to be igniting and woken up, and Jerry Jones knows the perfect time to do it.
Yeah.
Just like now. I mean, all of a sudden I got an interview with Kay, I got an interview with you, and we got a trade. We didn't even know about this. And I'm talking about a trade today. I'm like, okay, well, that's another subject. That's what Jerry Jones does. He's a mastermind with that.
Yeah, he certainly is. So I mean, I feel like we got lots taken care of today. I feel like we got lots taken care of with Micah. He's not going. I mean, he did allude to a second trade. So if Jerry Jones Stradamus, he has a shiny ball too. He's trying to figure out what. If I'm trying to figure out what's next, what do you think he's talking about? What's that next trade?
I don't know about the trading part because the thing is he caught us off guard when it came to today. So.
Yeah.
When it comes to trading and the back office and what they're doing with the Dallas Cowboys, I have no whereabouts.
He doesn't tell you?
No, he doesn't tell me. If he did tell me, I would probably not be talking right now. He's like, I don't know that. Interview with Kay, she's going to get it out of you.
Yeah.
But I think that, with the trading, I don't know what they're going to do, but I mean, I was even thinking about, okay, is there a running back out there? But they drafted 2 or 3 running backs. So I'm like, okay, when it's not running back,
they drafted 2, yeah.
Else? Is there a defensive guy still out there that they can try to get?
Yeah.
I don't know because they needed a corner? Like, was it a corner? I can't remember exactly what it is. We needed a lot of things with
I think they could still bring in Amari Cooper. I know that sounds crazy, but you can't tell me that there's not a little role for him on this team. Go get Amari Cooper, or maybe, maybe Joe Hortiz will sign him.
You think they'll jail with CD?
I'd like to see it happen. I'd like to see maybe even another wide receiver. We're going to take a break, but don't go anywhere, Demarcus. I want to ask you one more question about your Broncos after the break. We've got Joe Hortiz. We're going to flip over to the AFC and the AFC West after this. Demarcus, I'm seeing one of the headlines this morning is Nick Benito, okay, that they're trying to extend him. There's a thought out there in the world that it was like a one and done, like anomaly season, right? He crushed. He had like the 3rd most sacks in the league. What does your gut tell you? Like, of course, we need to see it again. We can't say he's 2nd-team All-Pro. We can't say he's one of the best to do it, right? Top 5 or anything. But do you think that it was an anomaly, or is he due to repeat it?
In the AFC, he can repeat it.
Okay.
He can repeat it. I think that, with the way me playing in the AFC and how they did things, I think that he can repeat what he did. It's a throwing game in AFC. NFC, now I would say no. They're going to put that tight end up there with that running back. No, you know, there's no chance. But in the AFC, there's a lot more one-on-ones. There's a lot more pass game. And he can do it. I mean, I went over there at the late part of my career and was still able to be effective because I got a lot of one-on-ones. That's just the way that they play, especially in that division. I think he can do it again.
Yeah, but he's special. But outside of that, like, your face kind of lit up when I said his name. Is he special?
He is.
Yeah.
He reminded me like a combination of like Shaq Barrett and Von Miller. Like Shaq Barrett.
Pretty good.
I'm just saying, like Shaq Barrett, he's more like a solid block. Solid guy, had, very fast, but had the quickness of Von.
Yeah.
Like, so with Von was more of a lean guy, but when you have a combination of power and speed, he has both of those.
Yeah.
That's why I say he can repeat it. He's not a one wonder because he's one-dimensional. He can do it again because he has all the attributes to be a great player and be consistent.
Sean Payton and George Payton are like, stop, Demarcus, stop talking him up. We don't want to pay him this bag that we
It
have
is
to
what
give
it
him.
is.
Y'all have to give him the back. We have 15 seconds. The GM of the Chargers, Joe Hortiz, is listening to us talk about this Destructicon with the Broncos. I'm going to ask you here in 15 seconds. You said that the Broncos were going to take a leap this year. Now you're 6'4", I'm 5 feet. Your stride's a bit different than mine. What does leap mean? What kind of a leap we talking here? Quick.
I think the leap with the Denver Broncos, like you said, I'm 6'4", and you said you're 5'3", right?
Five. I love you.
5'5". Okay, cool. That means like your legs are going to speed up and go faster, and being able to catch up to things. And I think that now the Denver Broncos, they have gotten to a point that they solidified everything. I don't even see like there's any holes on their teams, but like the youngness.
Ooh.
Can their maturity actually stand the test of time of the experience of the NFL? Look at what happened last season, and I was so surprised. I went to a couple of games. I'm like, they got a good team, and then they kept winning and getting better. So I think that it's the sky's the limit for the Denver Broncos.
Okay, I love that. I mean, my next guest isn't going to love that. So you're saying like a 10-foot, 2-inch broad jump kind of leap for your Denver Broncos. Demarcus Ware, you are an absolute legend, a Hall of Famer. That bite is going to be everywhere that you said he's not getting traded. And I thank you as always. Love you.
Thank you so much. You take care.
Appreciate you, Demarcus Ware. My next guest, I mean, not the best way to intro you with this guy in a gold jacket talking about these Broncos. Joe Hortiz, how are you?
Man, this is 2 years in a row. You led me in with KC last year. I mean, I think you're doing this intentionally, Kay.
I know you can handle it. It is so good to see you. Listen, I had Sean Merriman on yesterday or the day before yesterday, and he dropped this. I mean, this is like pure energy, pure vibes. This guy is a maniac. And he goes, no, Kay, you don't understand. Before the games, I go seeking out Joe. I go seeking out Joe so I can get his energy. What is wrong with you or right with you? What is that?
No, I don't know if it's the chicken or the egg because, Sean, he did our hype video for pregame, and it's awesome. And he narrates it, and it's the storm's coming, and he's in there, and so he gets me fired up, and then I go over to him and get him fired up. But I don't know. My wife actually sent me that clip, and I saw it, and it's just, man, I just have so much fun watching the guys play and compete. And I mean, you're talking about being 5 foot. I'm 5'8". My dream was to be one of these guys, and I'm not. And I wasn't. But they live out every boy's dream. We all want to be out there. I just get so fired up for them, and just have so much fun watching them and seeing them do well. And that's what we want. I just want the guys to do well, all the players to do well and succeed, and their family. And so you just get caught up in it, and you're ready to go. And Sean's the same way. So it's great, man. We have a great time.
It's amazing. And I'm so glad that you mentioned that you're 5'8" and that you wanted to play football. Of course, we did a little digging. And you played some quarterback, I believe, leading the Middletown Cavaliers. Hold on, Middletown Cavaliers to a Pop Warner national tournament. This is 1990. Can you scout a young Joe Hortiz for us?
Yeah, I could. I was smart, could run well, and couldn't throw very well. So we ran the option. We were a wing T team, and then we went back to like tried to duplicate Colorado's offense back there where they were running the option, and took advantage of the speed of myself and our backs, and we were a pretty good little team. I think Tommy Polly's team knocked me out of in the semifinals. Tommy picked me off, and I didn't even realize it was him until he was playing for us in Baltimore, and he was talking about this fast team from Delaware that wore blue, and I'm like, wait a minute, were you? And he was like, yeah, that was me. Well, and so we ended up going against each other, and he knocked me out. So, but that was a lot of fun. So that was really the highlight of my football career. I was a baseball player more so, and not even very good at that. But little boy had dreams, and here I am living it as a GM. So it's pretty cool.
I think you're doing okay, Joe.
Yeah.
I think you're doing okay. What do you like in the draft room? You have that like signage behind you. Yeah. You're saying you're fired up on game day. Is that the dynamic? Are you like insane, or are you more calm? What are you like?
Yeah, I learned from Ozzie and Eric, and just like, hey, do all the work ahead of time. Get in there, just be prepared, let the draft come to you. And that's the way it was in Baltimore. And you meet, and you're with the scouts and the coaches, and you get everything lined up. And draft day is you're anxious, excited. You got that energy going that you're going to get better. But you just kind of let the draft play out and come to you. And obviously, you weigh some moves here and there, up or back, but you try to have everything planned out and just execute the plan.
I can't believe it's been 2 weeks already. I thought about you in the draft because you crushed it so hard last year. Oh. And I almost hated that for you because it's like, how do you follow up with Joe Alt and then Lad freaking McConkey? Like, how do you, did you feel that pressure? Did that play it? Like, it's hard to follow up that, record of the year album with the following one that's also a hit.
Well, so the challenge to the scouts and the room is like, hey, listen, man, let it motivate you, and let's see if we can duplicate it. You don't take it as pressure. You take this, we had a good draft last year. Let's see if we can match it, and if, we keep matching these drafts, we feel like we're going to build a good, deep team. So, that's the plan and that's the goal. Let's go in and match last year's success and see if we can get even better.
Let's talk about your first round pick and congratulations on what looks like a brilliant draft. We'll talk next year about it, of course. Yeah. Omarion Hampton, he gets to the Bolts. We saw the pictures. We saw this. He gets there. He shakes everyone's hands. You on board and whatever that looks like. After those first couple of days, you sit down at your desk. What's going through your head?
Oh, just that we got a talented player that's really going to help us for the next 5 years at a minimum. And, the running backs are important in this league, and we got a great young one, and everyone was excited to get him. Just a really talented player. I watched him honestly when I was watching Drake May last December or November. I'm watching Drake, and I'm like, holy cow, who is this running back that's just running through arm tackles, making guys miss, and then just showing the long speed to finish or break off, big runs. And obviously, all our scouts that went into North Carolina this year and everyone who did them loved them, and I think I said it when we drafted him, it was a unanimous pick. Everyone wanted him, and everyone was fired up to get him. So we're really excited to bring him on board.
Joe, you were scouting quarterbacks?
Well, you always got to evaluate the quarterbacks. You always got to evaluate the quarterbacks.
I want to clarify.
They also had a wide out there in North Carolina.
Internet lights on fire.
Yeah, well, I was scouting the offense.
Of course.
Yeah.
You knocked it out of the park with Lad McConkey. We were talking in our production meeting this morning, like who could be prouder of what any of their draft picks accomplished. It was phenomenal. Over 1,100 yards in his rookie year, so many targets, just like a young kid. When I know the playoff game it didn't finish how you wanted it. We all know that. Right. But when you're watching him personally have this tremendous game after this crazy season, like what is that like knowing that you brought him in there?
We brought him in, and it's fun. It's a lot of fun. And I think that's any scout, when you watch a player and you stand up on the table for him, coaches too, like when you put that work in and you see a player that you really like and you're able to get him, and then you see him have the success, you couldn't be more proud as an individual. And then really for the player, like I think of the games that he had and really all of our rookies, you're really proud for him. And, just Tarheeb when he had that 2-pick game, and you're so excited for him and what he brought to the team. So it's our chance to help the team win, really. It's everything we do before game day, we have nothing to do with game day as a scout. We do all our work, and then you say, okay, let's see if I help this team, if we help this team, and to see that, okay, that's the way we can contribute. That's an awesome feeling for us as scouts, but really the fun is watching the player success.
I mean, 197 yards against that Texans defense was insane. I know it wasn't the win, and we're trying to get further than that. And we got to help him. Like as great as Lad is, like we want him to have a buddy out there. And you address that beautifully, I think, in the draft. Second round, you get the comps are like Michael Thomas, big play, physical receiver, and Trey Harris out of Ole Miss. And you and your team have scouted plenty of wide receivers over the years. What is your favorite thing about him?
I'd say his playmaking ability, but he's just his instincts as a player. As a former quarterback, and you watch him, he sees the defense, and that's an advanced thing. That's an advanced thing for a wide receiver to have, and he can really he sees where the way coverage is rolling. He knows how to set up routes. And then obviously when he gets the ball in his hands, he's big, fast, explosive. He's a great blocker, a great teammate. He does everything that you want a wide out to do, and he does it all well. So he's, like I say, he's a former quarterback. He's faster than I think his 40 time indicated, and I think we'll see that next year. But love his size, playmaking ability, but his instincts for the game are really good.
Yeah, I watched a little Jackson Dart. He was making all the plays. I think you literally stole another first round talent, second
Yeah.
round receiver. Like I
Well,
think
like
without the
when
injury, he would have been a first rounder. And I think I mean, he's unbelievable.
Well, when the Giants took Dart, they're showing all his highlights. And if you
I
watch,
know.
like, it's number nine, number nine, number nine. It's like, oh my God, like,
Yeah.
move on to the next pick. Like, let's quit showing this guy because we had a long ways to go at that point, you know. So you're just hoping, you know, I thought there was a chance he'd be there, but, you know, just because in some of the projections and rankings, he was down just a little bit. And I'm like, okay, there's only one that has him up there where we're picking or right around where we're picking. So I thought he'd be there, but it's always a risk.
He's a star. He's so freaking good. Are you done adding wide receivers?
I think right now we're going to see what we got out there this weekend and through OTAs, but I would never say we're done adding anything. You know, any chance we can get to where, you know, if we need the help, if we can help improve the team and the competitiveness of the team and competition at the positions, we'll add any position. So always looking. You know, I think last year we added Tony Jefferson in June and then traded for Elijah, you know, Molden at the end of at the 53 cut, and both of those additions paid dividends for us throughout the course of the year. So we're always looking to improve the team and add depth or competition.
Were you interested in George Pickens? Got traded today to the Cowboys?
I watched George Pickens for 3 years. I'll say that, you know, so in Baltimore. So, and then obviously played against us last year. So
you guys play, I believe, in Brazil, Joe, week 1.
We do
right?
play in Brazil. We do.
How's your Portuguese?
Not very good. Not very good. I may need to take somebody with me who can speak Portuguese, but you know, I don't know how much we'll be venturing outside. You know, we're going to get in, I think, you know, the day before, maybe 2 days before, and get to work and try to get a win and get out.
If you could pick, I know there's a lot of rumors about, you know, there's a division rival that you might be playing. If you could pick the opponent, who is it and why is it the Texans?
I have no idea who it's going to be. Who it's going to be. And honestly, I don't think you think about the opponent. I think you think about the opportunity for us, and it's a chance to start 1-0 and a chance to be on national television, you know, or the primetime solo game. So, you know, I don't know who's going to carry the game, and I don't know who we're going to play, but it's a great opportunity for us as an organization, and we're excited to go down there. And heard nothing but great things about it from the two teams that went there last year, so we're looking forward to it.
I read a fun fact that you and Les Snead used to share, I believe, an office while working at Auburn, right?
Yeah. We it was a fun office. We had Les was back there, and Will Muschamp was our defensive GA. So we had a lot of fun back there. Les was the recruiting GA. I was a student assistant working with the offense, and you know, they were definitely the guys that showed me the ropes and took care of me because I think I was probably 19, maybe 20 when I first started working at Auburn. And so Les did a great job mentoring me. He was there for about a little over a year, and then he got a job with the Jags and took off. And, you know, and then it was me and Muschamp for a couple of years, and then he left. So, you know, I was solo without those two guys. So, but
I mean, you were younger. I'm glad to hear he was nice. Is that not insane that now you're like crosstown rival GMs? Is that not insane?
I mean, like, you can't write that script, right? Like that's really cool. You know, we laugh about it. It's fun. And Pat Dye, the agent who went to Auburn, his father coached actually Les, and Pat's like, I can't believe two guys from Auburn, Alabama are GMs in LA. So it's unique, and it's certainly a lot of fun, and you know, we're enjoying it for sure.
Did he hate first round picks back then also?
Yeah, you know, I don't think we were just trying to survive, you know, we were like ducks on water, man, you know, like just trying to stay calm on the surface, paddle like hell underneath, you know?
Yeah. Ducks on the water sounds great to me. I like that Khalil Mack is back, of course. Why was it important to you to get that done and get that done early and not let him become a free agent?
Oh man, he's just, you know, I think about when I first got the job, and you know, I obviously prepped on the Chargers, and I knew the Chargers because we had played him the year before, and just such a great player. But when I watched him, really the year before I got here, the last 2 games of the year, and we had a tough year, and you watch those last 2 games, and he is playing absolutely intense and like just relentless football in games that really, you know, it's not going to help him get to the playoffs. And just to see that type of energy and effort, and care factor playing the football game. I was like, God, we got to keep this guy around. And certainly I saw it as soon as I met him and watched him lead. And first, his talent speaks for itself, but who he is as an individual, a teammate, a man, a husband, a father, just everything about him's great. And yeah, we didn't want to lose him, and we're fired up to keep him.
I'm so happy that he's there. I think you did such an excellent job of going all in surrounding this quarterback, Justin Herbert, who you and Jim have spoken very highly of, even just recently, even this week, with all the talent he needs to make it past a team like the Texans in the playoffs. Like, that must be the mindset, right? Like, you've got the regular season down. You're good. This is a team that wants to go even further in the playoffs, and we love that. There's an idea, and there was an idea on my show, even from a Chargers alum. Chris Harris Jr. said that he questions his clutchness, that it's something that's under scrutiny. What would you like to say about that?
I mean, look at Justin's shown plenty of clutch moments. I mean, he's led the team to wins. He's led us to wins, and gosh, I don't know. I wasn't here the year he did it, but in the shootout, he scores late to tie the game, and he's done so many remarkable things already. He's got 2 playoff losses. All right. That happens, and that's happened to a lot of great quarterbacks. And you know what? Our goal is to just keep giving him cracks at it. And I know he's going to deliver. He's so talented, so smart, and really one of the best competitors I've ever been around. And it's you watch him, he puts his body on the line.
Yeah.
Let's play, strings the play out as long as he can to make something special happen. So it's coming. That's what I'll say. It's coming. I don't worry about it.
I love that.
I've seen it. I've seen it in person.
Yeah, I would say I think it was the 3 straight wins to get into the playoffs where your season's on the line.
Right.
He showed up and was amazing to send them to the playoffs. So those are clutch games for anybody who's wondering. Okay, I'm wondering just like, what now? When do you get to kick your feet up on the desk? Because you do these 3 days of the draft, and then I'm like, I hope you get to rest. And then Nick Caserio is like, no, that's when it gets really busy. You got to sign all these guys and do all these things. When do you get to kick back for a second?
I'd say that, once when we break OTAs and mandatory camp and OTAs, you get a chance to, maybe do a little fishing and
great
hang out at the beach. But you really don't want to out here. Okay. You live out here. It's like,
yeah.
Come on outside, get to work. And, it's just so much fun here. This facility that Dean built us here and John and AG built us, it's phenomenal.
Amazing.
I mean, the Spanos family's been awesome to me and my family and to all the coaches here. And it's, what do we got to do? Let's go to work, and so let's have, and we have a great time doing it. I mean, Coach is, Coach, he's the best. And he keeps everything.
I don't,
fun.
I think Coach is, I don't know him very well. I'd like for you to tell me, if I could create the office of an NFL, coach, GM partner, it'd be you guys. I want to be there. I want to be there for. People like to say, oh, that's so Jim Harbaugh. Last one for you. What's the most that's so Jim story you can tell me? You've been together a year now.
Yeah.
Anniversary in January.
I'll be honest with you. It's his honesty, in meetings, and it's any meeting. It's a staff meeting. It's a team meeting. What's so Jim is that he's going to be completely honest and he's completely competitive and he cares. Honestly, I worked with his brother for 16 years, John, and John is like a brother to me. I've known Jim during that entire time. Heck, he was our quarterback when I first started in Baltimore, but he's able to connect so well and he cares so much about the team and everyone who's a part of it. So that's what's so Jim. He just special leader, special competitor, special person, and really genuinely cares about everyone. And when I mean everyone, I mean everyone. If there's an issue that he wants to know and he wants to get in there and help. And so that's what's so Jim. He just cares about everybody and he makes it so much fun to come to work and partner up with him and be his teammate. And I think everyone in this building feels that.
I love that. We're going to take a short TV break, but we are still live on YouTube. I want to get this out. NFL fans are freaking out. They love uniform changes, Joe. Yesterday, I know this may be not your department, but everybody goes nuts because they heard a report that the Chargers are going to have the alt helmet this season. Can you confirm?
I can't confirm anything because right over here in the corner is one of our PR people, and they got a laser trained on me, so I can't confirm anything. But I know we dabble with some stuff, so I'm sure there's something coming. I don't know. Can
you give a hint? Is it navy? Blink if it's powder blue.
I haven't
Blink
seen
if
anything.
It's powder blue.
I haven't seen anything. They literally, there was the true story. There was one day they're out on the balcony here and overlooking the fields, and they have curtains all wrapped around. And I'm like, what's going behind the curtain? And they stopped me from going behind it. And they were doing some secretive photo shoot back there. So I haven't even seen it. I don't even get any privilege for that.
Do you like this? What do you think of this? Rate this outfit.
Have we worn that? That was before my time. Or was
I don't know.
We wore white helmets.
Hamilton, I don't even know. This means yes. He all but confirmed it. PR, we love you for the Chargers. Joe, I appreciate you so much. Congrats on nailing it again in the draft. I cannot wait to see the leap you guys take and shut Demarcus Ware up in year 2 of your tenure.
No, yeah. By the way, you got the week of the pass rushers on here, right? You got Merriman and now Demarcus.
Yeah.
He came out. He was one of the best classes from the state of Alabama that year. Not one Alabama
draft class
in the first round. He was awesome.
Yeah. We got to get Khalil on again.
Yeah.
By the way,
Troy, Roddy.
By the way, people might not know, like, that view you're talking about it is iconic. It is truly the best thing in the NFL to be at the Bolt, this insane facility, by the way, that makes me want to hit the leg press, overlooking the fields, and it is the most unbelievable place. Like, I just love that view.
It's awesome. Every day I walk in from the back parking lot along the fields and along the side of the building.
Yeah.
The sun's coming up at 7 a.m. The guys are lifting. The garage doors are up. It's awesome. It's a really, minus the glare as you're driving in, it's unbelievable.
Yet somehow when I was there and I met Joe Alt, he was complaining about the price of eggs in LA. I hope he's liking it better. Is Joe coming to terms with his tough new lifestyle here on the West Coast?
I think he is. That's why I tell everyone, just come out here one time, just try it on for size, because once you get here, you're not going to want to leave. And, I tell any free agents listening out there, come on to LA,
There we go.
Try us out.
Amari Cooper, Keenan Allen knows how great it is out there.
Yeah, he does.
We'll see you later, Joe Hortiz. Enjoy your time. Everybody be jealous of us that we live in LA. Appreciate you. Thanks to the Chargers. And you are going to have to leave that view and go to Brazil week 1. We're back on Up and Adams on the TV side. Big thanks to Joe Hortiz of the Chargers. Just such a fun hang. You can tell why everybody loves them. And big thanks to Demarcus Ware for saying Micah Parsons not getting traded. All happened right here. What a show.